What's up, guys? Michael Anthony here. Welcome to the first show. This is The Beat on the Street, where we'll be covering multiple genres in electronic music, also music videos and musician interviews. Today, I've collaborated with Cole, owner of Retro Reverb Records, and I'm joined with him now to introduce the new show. How are you today, Cole?
Hey, Mike, man, thanks for having me on, and thanks for letting Retro Reverb Records be a supporter of this show. We're really pleased to be working together and collaborating with you. Fantastic opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm very happy to be collaborating as well too. So the breakdown of the show, we're going to be doing music videos, some artist cameos, musician interviews. We also have top 3 synthwave charts, where we break down some of the top 3 tracks on the chart.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So from what we've discussed, we're going to be mixing up, aren't we? We're gonna have a sort of a mix of maybe some better known artists, but definitely some of the lesser known artists in the scene. We'll be looking for new talent, new sounds. It's kind of the inspiration behind the name Beat on the Street, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, definitely. Any indie artist out there, if you're just starting out, if you're with a label, anybody, submit your music and information. We'll have a link to where you could submit that as well too. This way we could try to get you on the show.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yes, definitely.
I think the next thing that we're trying to do is like these little sort of cameo interviews, aren't we? And I think the idea behind that is that artists will come on. We'll probably ask them some random or maybe more sort of questions about themselves, but we'll also just be featuring their track or their video, and it's more like a get to know you type situation with the artist. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Maybe we could do a format like a AMA, ask me anything. Maybe we throw a couple surprise questions at them, see how they respond, just to see. This way everyone can, get to know them, get to know some of their stuff that you don't hear normally on other, on their music, stuff like that.
The last thing you mentioned was the synthwave chart, which is obviously organized by us, Retro Reverb Records, but it's completely independent. And by that, what I mean is people submit their music and then the public get to vote on it. I, just like everyone else, can have free votes on the chart that I created, and it's the same for everyone. It's important to know that the artists can't vote for themselves. Doing very brief reviews on the top 3 winners, is that correct?
Yes, exactly. That's a great format.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And this is just part of. We have some core values at Retro Reverb Records, and when we started up the label, a lot of people don't think this about record labels or believe it, but we were quite invested in making sure that we support the scene and collaborated with artists in a positive way. So a lot of these things that we do, like the synthwave chart, Beat on the Street, our charity albums, and also just if you look at our roster of who we signed, it's quite varied, are all things that are part of these core values that we really strive to adhere to at all times, no matter what goes on within the label. So the synthwave chart is one of those fantastic things that I really enjoy, actually.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's great for the community. I think it's great for everyone, try to get their music heard, another way to get their stuff heard. Yeah, synthwave is definitely, a great big community, I have to say. It's been fun the past year, almost 2 years, collaborating and listening to a lot of artists, music videos, soundtracks, vocals, instrumentals. It's just a great.
Be watching this pilot episode. The shows will be The Beat on the Street will be available bi-weekly on Retro Reverb Records YouTube channel and our Twitch channel, and all of pop art avenues are probably on your website and your YouTube page, and again all the links will be in the description below. check those
Yes,
out.
definitely. We just released a new single, End of Time, with Alex Vecchietti. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Vecchietti. I'm a Jersey Italian. I apologize, Alex. But cool. What was it like to, I saw you had a music video. So what was it like coming up with the music video and the track itself?
Well, the track, the lyrics were written by Alex and myself. The melody for the lyrics was written by me. The track was mostly produced by Alex. And then the video, the location was chosen by Alex, but we both filmed it together.
Oh, awesome.
It was this lighthouse on the coast near to where I live. And as you can see in the video, it was quite a winter's day. It was quite cold and wet, and you can see the greys and the blues and the hues, the purple hues and stuff like that. But we chose it because we felt that the sea and the coastline was very symbolic of the energy that is here in Sicily, and the track is about like connections and energy. So that was kind of like just the basic inspiration behind it, and also it just looked good.
Yeah, no, it definitely stuck out. I did like the scenery, the environment that you guys filmed it in. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, we're blessed here with that kind of thing in Sicily, so we have to utilize all the free stuff we can, and that's one of them.
Yeah, I remember you guys were also on a different show, Static Realms, the Synthomania. You guys were also performed an event on there as well.
Yeah, that was super good fun. We went down to a bar in Palermo, which is the capital of Sicily, and we set up and performed. Actually, there were people there, but you can't see that in the video because we had to have the camera in front of the crowd because of the dimensions of the thing, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, no, a really fun set. Enjoyed that a lot. Actually, it was one of my first real live sets performing my own tracks as well. So I was on the keyboards, Alex was singing, and Alex is more of the musician than I am. He was playing the guitar and singing and stuff. Although I did sing in the last track. It was my debut vocal performance.
Oh, was it? That's awesome. Yeah. That's really cool how you had a almost like a live set you were recording on. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, we hope the energy, I don't want to overuse the word, translated in the video. We put some cool effects and some nice lighting on it in the venue, and we had a few drinks, and it was good fun.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So back to Retro Reverb Records. How is it like having a label? And I noticed you also have a lot of new signings as well too from February.
Yeah, we had a bit of an influx of signings recently. Shout goes out to Liquid Modern, to Alexa or Alexa, or however he wants to pronounce. I should know. Sorry, Luca. And
Ariel and A.
Yeah, just announced today that we got V Vampire as well. So a little bit of a mixture there. We're always looking to diversify our sounds, the types of artists that we've got, but we've got some core artists who have been with us for a long time. The group Fantastic, Eden Future, Honeybeard, of course, Alex Vecchietti, the Sub Theory, and loads of others as well. Who there's too many to mention. I can't just list them all.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but yeah, no, really pleased with the artists that we have and that we work with, and the different sounds that we're able to release on a regular basis.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. I noticed a lot of my Bandcamp purchases were from a lot of the artists on your label.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yeah. Wobes, I remember Wobes. Wobes is awesome. One of their releases.
Oh yeah, they're the latest one. People, you need to buy their tape. It's bloody good, and they deserve to sell that. Right?
Yeah, it's a really cool, awesome album.
Yes, it is.
Anything coming out for the rest of 2022? Any future?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're busy.
Just like an endless stream of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we've got a release next week. we've got I must mention the charity album and
Yes.
State of Synth. Julian and Dennis will be doing a live show for the release
That's
of our
awesome.
charity album, which is for mental health, which is Retro Reverb Records Volume 2. It's got over 30 artists from in the scene on it. Yeah. I'm still trying to decide on the format, but hopefully maybe vinyl, but definitely probably CD and tape and digital, obviously.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's good. And then other, like, I mean, honestly, music wise, just loads. Just keep your just go to our page. It's almost every week we've got something coming out by somebody new. But some other sort of non-music things, we've got a retro game that's available on our website called Guitar Kitty. The demo version's out now. We're still ironing out the creases. www.retroreverbrecords.com. And we have an exciting venture where we will be. It's called like Media Creations, and we've got quite a lot of creative people who work with us who do pixel art, 3D animation, artwork, mastering and mixing, and we are basically selling their services on our website. So I would refer to it as a one-stop shop release place. So you could probably come, you could buy a piece of artwork, you could buy a video, you can have your track mixed and mastered, and if you want, you could place a hard copy release, which we would organize for you. And again, we're really trying to, and I want people to understand this, we're really trying to support the scene. So we're trying to keep the prices down to make it as affordable for artists as possible, because we know, running a label, that the overheads are the things that hit you, because it's hard enough to sell music, and you need to present that music in a professional way with artwork and videos, and it needs to be well mixed and mastered and have a nice sound. And we know that those costs can really rack up. So yeah, you have to pay a bit, but we guarantee that it's going to be competitive.
Oh, that's perfect. That's great. That's also good to know for any artists out there. We have to thank you, Cole, for this is definitely going to be a fun time, a fun show. I'm glad you approached me with the idea of collaborating for a show as well too.
No problem. I'm like, honestly, it's your show, so I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing the artists that you get on, the type of questions that you go, and obviously just promoting it and getting it out there. And you know, for everyone out there in the scene, we're all working together because we are in a niche scene. So remember to, you know, like, comment, share, not just your stuff, other people's stuff too, because we all put a lot of effort and time into what we've been. So thanks.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, including you, Mike. Thank you so much for all of the stuff you've been posting from our artists, and you know, you did another interview piece for me on your website, which was great fun. So big shout out to you, and you know, maybe I'll pop back on every now and again as a guest and just say hi and see how it's going.
Definitely, of course, definitely. Thank you, Cole, for that awesome chat and interview. It's always great to hear your insight in regards to the electronic music scene. Next up, we have Ollie Galaxis and her music video for Database.
Computer, what happened? The night that Nova and I left.
I'm sorry, but the memory you are looking for has been refreshed.
Shadow still
Welcome back, guys. That was Ollie Galaxis music video, her official video from her EP that came out in 2021. I'm here today with Ollie Galaxis. Let me say welcome. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, of course, of course. Tell me, who is Ollie Galaxis?
Okay, so Ollie Galaxis is an intergalactic supervillain who travels through space and writes songs and conquers planets.
And I seems like Ollie likes to sing a lot of songs and make
Yes.
things as well too.
Yes, I make all my own music, produce, write, am the vocalist for, and create all my own video content.
That's really cool. So you just had a new EP come out. It was I bought it on iTunes, so I'm familiar with it. I know it was on
Thank you.
Spotify, YouTube. Do you have a favorite track?
I mean, I love all of the tracks. They all have a different place in the story of the EP, but I think the song Galaxy is my favorite because it was the first one that I ever wrote. I wrote it back in 2018. And it was the first Ollie Galaxis song that came to exist. And that song was kind of the catalyst for all of the other songs to exist. I think all of the rest of them stem from that song. So I'm also I really like the lyrics. It's one of my favorite things I've ever written. So.
That's really cool. So you write everything, you produce everything.
Yes.
You come up with the beats, the everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
So 2018, you mentioned that was when you started as making music as Ollie Galaxis.
Yes. Yes. It's when I started developing the music. It wasn't until I'd say 2019 and then 2020 when the pandemic hit until I really had the time to work on it and really figure out what I wanted to say. I mean, I think I always knew what I wanted to say, but I had the opportunity to write more things and just, obviously it was a really unfortunate circumstance, but it ended up giving me some time to reflect on things and write a lot of music.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you usually come up with what you write and your lyrics?
I like telling stories through visuals a lot and sort of aesthetics, but there's sort of an underlying story about it. Like all of the songs, no matter how pop or how sci-fi they are, they're all about my life. And I like telling stories about my life through that sort of cinematic lens. And taking on this character so that I can say things about like my own life that I wouldn't otherwise say.
That's really cool. That makes sense. So the 7-track EP, we had Battleship, Galaxy, Database, Supernova, Power Trip, Fool, and Other Planets. I believe the first video I saw was on Instagram that you did for, I believe, Supernova.
Hey, Captain Supernova, your position self-appointed. Do you think your people would still follow you if they knew what you did? Hey, Supernova, what would you do if your hope was over? Don't think your people would get it if they knew that you're the Senate. Hey, Captain Supernova, I've been trying to get over what you did. No, I've been trying to get over what you did, but I'm not over it.
That really caught my eye, and that's what started, made me listen to your music. Was that one of the first songs you made, or you said it was Galaxy?
Supernova was the second song I made, actually. Those were the two first songs that I made, and they're kind of connected in my head as kind of part one and part two, and then all the other ones came then after. But yeah, that song is probably my second favorite one.
Oh wow!
I think that song's my most personal song that I've written.
Mm-hmm. Now, and also with your music videos, how do you usually come up with those?
In my head, when I'm writing the stories and the songs, there's always a color scheme and a visual that comes with it, especially for this album. It's titled Other Planets. And every song kind of takes place in these different planets and these different worlds, and different color schemes. So like for Supernova, it's pink. And I'm working on some more videos right now that haven't come out yet. I don't know when they're going to come out, but I like also kind of characters having color schemes. Like this character of Supernova, her color scheme is pink. Ollie Galaxis' color scheme is blue. And, you know, I just like the idea of color schemes. And so it's sort of a color, a theme, and then what kind of location that would take place in, and like what that says about what I'm trying to say.
That's awesome. I actually never realized that you had a color scheme for, I noticed different colors, but it's cool how you came up with that effect.
Yeah.
I like
Thanks.
that.
I think when the other things get released, it will be a bit more clear, but there's some things in the works that is taking longer than I intended to make.
Of course.
But yeah.
So your music is on Twitch, TikTok, SoundCloud. You also have your own website. You're on
Yes.
Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Is there any other way fans can find you?
Yes, I believe my music is on some other streaming services. I don't remember all of them, but I use CD Baby as a, what's the word? Distribution service. I use CD Baby, so everything that they cover, my music should be on as well.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So before we wrap it up, is there any upcoming announcements you have that you would like everyone to know?
Upcoming announcements. So for one, I should have new music coming relatively soon. I don't totally know when, but I would expect an EP, likely a 2 or 3 song EP. And if anyone follows me and knows the song Laser Girl and has seen it on my SoundCloud, I've remade that song and I'm going to be putting it out on this EP whenever it comes out. So that's the only thing I can concretely announce. I've also been sort of trying to play live. I'm currently in New York, so if you live in New York, maybe and follow me and you'll maybe get some announcements about that.
That's really cool. Again, Ollie, thank you for taking the time to be on the show.
Thank
I
you so much for having
appreciate
me.
We go to other planets, but things don't go the way we planned. Something about misunderstanding.
Hey buddy, my eyes are up here. Hey everyone, I'm Kal-Elle Jagger and you're watching Beat on the Street. Boop!
Coming up next, we have the music video Silver Lines from Lucy Dreams, followed by an interview with David from the group.
Break into another one's mind, 'cause another one's child is just the birth of memory. In every wish you have a longer desire, walk on me. I wanna be higher up above the labor of the power you need to prove the golden moon. I wanna be with you tonight. I wanna walk a silver line now, so we know how. Like a tiger burning bright, you're gonna fuck me up in time now, so we know how.
What's up, guys? I'm here with David from Lucy Dreams. Thank you for joining me today, David.
Hey, pleased to meet you, everybody.
Thank you. Lucy Dreams is a trio of David, Philip, and Lucy. So my first question, who is Lucy?
Lucy is an artificial band member. We were messing around in the studio, the two of us, Phil and me. We have been friends for a long time, making music together. And there was this one night when we were fooling around in the studio, coupling different effects. We started by using analog effects and then eventually chained them up with digital effects. And all of a sudden, this system started to evolve, started to kind of create a life of its own, as it were. And we sent sounds into the system processed those sounds. Eventually, like oceans of noise and huge waves of noise were coming out of the speakers. And after a while, like 5 to 10 minutes, we just heard certain patterns, certain melodies in this white noise, in this ocean of noise. So we said, okay, this system apparently has developed a life of its own, and we started digging deeper and played around with the system, adjusting a couple of parameters. And we have been writing music with the system ever since. And that's why we said, okay, this is our artificial band member. This is Lucy, we gave it a name. It also has a voice and also a face.
Oh, wow, that's really awesome. Obviously, Philip can't be with us today. So Lucy, I like that, how you referred to her as an AB, the artificial band member. That's really funny.
Exactly. In the beginning, sorry to interrupt you, we were like, okay, is this some crazy AI stuff? But then we said, okay, AIs actually only reproduce what they are fed with. So we said this system actually, it's more than an AI. We went for AB eventually, the artificial band member.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's really cool. I thought maybe you were just trying to substitute the I and the B, but that's a good reference. I like that. So where are you guys from? Are you in I know you mentioned you and Philip grew up together.
Exactly. We actually grew up on the countryside in Austria, and moved to Vienna a couple of years ago. And this is where we live now. This is where we make music now. This is where we play shows now. It's super nice to go back to the countryside. It's in the mountain regions of Austria, but we're based in Vienna, capital of Austria.
Wow, it must be really nice. I always hear good things about Austria.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is that it's super nice to be connected to a metropolis like New York in this case.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Yeah, I'm in right now I'm in North Jersey, but you know, I've been in New York City since I was young, since I was like 4 years old.
Okay.
All the boroughs, things like that. It's a lot of fun.
And it is just a stone throw away from New Jersey, is it?
Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes from Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah.
And once you go through Lincoln Tunnel, you're right into the the start of New York City, the glamour, I like to call it.
I've been there 2 years, 3 years ago, actually. And, it has always been kind of one of the cities of my dreams. Because, New York, it has such a high status in world culture, pop culture, that I always wanted to go there. And, my expectations were extremely high.
Oh, that's awesome.
New York managed to even, it was even better than my expectations. There was this one moment where we took the ferry from, the south end of Manhattan to, what is it called? It's a passenger ferry. I don't remember.
It was either, it could have been in Jersey. Maybe you took it to Jersey, or, I'm sorry. I'm like
Staten Island.
Yes, where the Statue of Liberty is. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Then on the way back, you see Manhattan from the south perspective, and it was just so mind blowing. It wasn't a city anymore. It was kind of a massive something which you don't really know what it is. So many things to interpret into this, the skyline and everything, and then like two helicopters flew into like through the skyscrapers. It was just mind-blowing. Like it really is a jewel.
Yeah, I have to agree. I haven't been there in a few years because of everything that's been going on with COVID and everything. I heard it's changed a little bit. I just hope it's it gets back to where it was.
Yeah.
So a lot of your music videos I was watching before. I really like them. I think they're very creative, especially with the music and everything. The one I watched first was for Silver Lines. Where did the idea come from for that video?
It started on a train, actually. I was on the way to a place in the countryside, and I sat down in the, what is it called, the train bistro, like where you can grab a coffee. And I was sitting there looking out of the window, and there was this woman sitting in front of me. So we kind of, started chatting a little, and eventually exchanged numbers and then Instagram contacts. So it turns out she is a super interesting visual designer. And we just connected, and I offered her to kind of create a track based on one of her sculptures. So this is how it all started. And then she said, okay, I have this, she has a unique design, black and white, works a lot with is it geometrical?
Oh yes, geometric.
Geometrics and her art is fascinating. Check it out. It's Esther Stocker, and she had a showroom in Vienna, and she said, why not do a video in there?
Oh wow.
She eventually approached us saying also, let's have a look at the costumes together. Let's have a look at how the whole setting is. And yes, this is how the music video came into.
That's really cool. I like that one part, how it goes from like the color switches, like it's like almost like opposites, like black and white, and then opposite where you guys were. Very interesting. I like that. It's a really cool backstory. So I noticed on social media you guys just signed with Aztec Records. What is that like? What's the feeling like?
Well, it's super nice to sign a record contract. It's one of the big goals every musician has, I think. And we got in touch about half a year ago and exchanged a couple of signals. They were interested, we were interested. Then we negotiated, and then we signed the contract 2 weeks ago. And from then on, for me, the whole thing started to become even more exciting. We're shooting a music video next week. I'm super motivated about that. We have the whole, there's a whole system behind it. And I think this can give our music the push it needs at the moment. Being in touch with people connected in the music universe is probably for us the next logic step.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And you guys call your music dream pop, I believe, right?
It just fits perfectly with the name, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree. I like that a lot.
Sometimes we add euphoric dream pop. Some songs are synth pop. Some songs are pure pop.
Mm-hmm.
We try to kind of, hit different fields with different songs. It always depends on which input we receive from Lucy, and this is then the direction the songs eventually go in.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So you guys are on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud. I see you on Facebook, Bandcamp, iTunes, YouTube, and also TikTok. Am I missing anything else anywhere on social media?
I don't think so. I think you got it. You really got it all.
Okay, great. Just so everyone knows where to find your music, your videos, things like that.
Exactly. Mostly our handle is lucy.dreams.dp. DP
okay.
for David, which is me, and P for Phil, which is my dear colleague, which I'm creating the music with.
Awesome. That's really cool. So 2021, you also had Silver Lines, Dreamland, and you also came out with an EP, Everything Comes in Waves. What was the other music video you did besides Silver Lines? There was another.
There was Dreamlands. And it's entirely based on incredible footage created by a visual designer in the UK. His name is Visual Dawn, and he has a super nice concept of providing mind-blowing visuals on Creative Commons. Most of his works are Creative Commons. A couple of them you have to buy, but the whole thing made so much sense based on the track. So the track is called Dreamland. It's about kind of a refuge, a very personal and intimate refuge of myself, but it's outer space, something that I want to be in, something that I dream of. And there is in the visuals, in the videos of Visual Dawn, there is this one astronaut, and I ended up seeing myself so much in this astronaut. So I decided to give this astronaut a name. His name is Mr. Mirandola, and he's on a quest. He's on a journey. He tries to find the big truth in outer space, not knowing that he already carries himself into him, like in himself. So the very truth is not where you seek it, but you already carry it within yourself.
Wow, that's really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I always like to hear the backstory with music videos, especially when there's a good story behind it. Like a lot of.
It's always nice to kind of communicate your own feelings, what you are, what you feel, what you think, across or via different means. In this case, music and visuals.
Yes.
For me, it's an outlet.
Yeah, I'm big with audio and visuals. It's always something I looked at, especially in electronic music. I think electronic music in general kind of like opened up a lot of things with that, like music videos, ambient sounds, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always a nice combination, I should say.
and it goes together so well. If you think about music without the visuals, it's to have, but then with the visuals, it gets to a completely new level.
Yes.
And also vice versa. If you have a look at video footage, it's nice to have, but once you add a score, once you add music to it, it evolves to a completely new stage.
Yeah, exactly.
My opinion, a more exciting product.
That's great. So David, before we wrap up, are there any upcoming announcements you would like to talk about?
Well, yes, you've mentioned that we have signed with Aztec Records, and together with them, we're putting out a single in March, 25th of March. We will be releasing a song called Experiencer, which will be a single of the upcoming album. And the album then will be released also via Aztec Records in April or May. We're not quite sure about the date yet, but before summer. It will be called Götterfunken. It's a German term. That's what I can reveal already. Götterfunken basically means the gods spark, and for us, it's the basis of the communication with our artificial band member Lucy.
That's really cool. I can't wait to check that out. So, David, I have to thank you again for joining me today on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael.
I'll definitely
say hi to all the people watching this. It would be great to, see you, meet you in the virtual worlds, in the real world one day.
Hey, we're Liquid Modern.
And you're watching The Beat on the Street.
just want to take a second to thank everyone for appearing on the show today. It's been a really fun time creating this show, doing interviews and listening to everyone's music, as well as discovering new things about each artist. If you ever want to be on a future show, feel free to email me at beatstreetsub@gmail.com. All links and emails will be below in the description box. Coming up next, we have Jonny Fallout's Slow Burn music video, followed by an interview. What's up, everybody? I'm here with Jonny Fallout. Let's welcome Jonny to the show. How's
Glad to be
everything
here,
going?
Mike.
I appreciate you making some time to join us today. It's a real pleasure.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for all your support of indie electronic music. It's really appreciated.
Oh, of course, it's my favorite. My favorite genre, I have to say. You've been around the scene for a while, I want to say. How did you first get into electronic music?
Yeah, so I mean, electronic music for me started with drum and bass really in the late 90s. There's a there's a venue called the Phoenix Landing in Boston. They've had a drum and bass night, I think, for the past 20 years or so, but
Oh, wow.
I used to be a regular attendee of those, and many other sort of nightclubs and bars in the Boston area, just listening to things, occasionally playing out with my bands. But we actually had a warehouse studio in this area of Boston called Kendall Square, before it got developed into this biotech haven it is now. There were these warehouses there, and they didn't have any tenants in them really. So there was a lab that my partner in the band worked at a lab, so we had access to this warehouse, and we just set up a studio in there.
That's
and
awesome.
did lots of electronica and stuff that was popular in the late 90s. But that's really how I got into electronic music.
That's really cool. I remember even a lot of places like around the city, around Jersey, were like a big, almost like an old auditorium where they used to set up clubs, things like that, raves, indoor
Yep.
raves, I should say. A lot of
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah, any sort of building that could house a ton of people
Yeah.
that became a club or a place for a rave. So obviously because of COVID, I haven't been out recently, but my hope is to take my music out live as well. So
That'd be
we'll
awesome.
see how that goes.
Yeah, that'd be great. So back in 2021, you came out with Cyber Ethereal. Which was a cool title, I want to say, coined by Fox Puppy, Jason.
Yeah,
What was it like coming up with your debut album? How was it?
Yeah, so Cyber Ethereal, I had been living with some of those songs for a while, 2 to 3 years, and the way I tend to work is I write a song and then sort of finish it up and let it sit for a little bit, and then come back to it and take it apart and iterate over it and hopefully make it better. So the songs that were a part of that, I'd been working over for a while, and so that took a while to do, and I actually had a second group of songs that I'd been working on over the same period. So I had those, but I wasn't quite ready to release those, and so a lot of those songs are going to end up on the next album, which will be Cyber Ethereal 2.
Oh, wow. That's great to know. Yeah, I definitely like the combination of genres you have in your music. It's almost like, synthwave, some other genres in electronic music. I get a feeling of like an ambient, tone in there as well too, where it's like you're surrounded into the song. It's hard for me to describe that, but
Yeah, I think some of that layering comes from, well, first I listen to pretty much every kind of music. I have a background in jazz performance, so
Oh, wow.
I mean that's sort of this wide variety of influences. And one of the bands that I really love is Underworld, which they're not quite as active now, but they were one of the more important bands to come out of that time period in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they tend to layer a lot of parts together. I don't do it nearly as well as they do, but that's where some of that desirement to pull in lots of genres and
Awesome.
and layer things into complex patterns. That's where that comes from.
That's awesome. I'm a big jazz fan for a long time now. I remember back in it was a club back when I was younger in the city. We walked into it, and I wasn't expecting it, but it just it was great. We walked. I think it was like the wrong club or something, or maybe the night or something. We weren't expecting it, but that's how I kind of got into it too, as well too. And we have a local jazz FM station over here too, which is I play a lot as well too.
Wow,
it's really
excellent.
Cool. Yeah. So your previous music video for Slow Burn that came, what was it like coming up with that video with the
so I think Slow Burn is I mean, it's one of the songs that really came out the way I wanted it to. That it's not always the case when you're creating something, but Slow Burn is about as close as to what I felt a song could and should be. So when I was putting together the video, it's actually a lot of those pieces are just sort of freely available footage, and so I spend a lot of time. I call it digital crate digging. So if you're familiar with DJ culture, there's crate digging where you're just going through all these albums, all this vinyl to try to find, or CDs to try to find sort of unique sounds, unique albums.
Awesome.
So I think people do that digitally now. They're looking for samples, they're looking for loops, they're looking for video that feels right. Now, if you're someone like Zarina, you can, you've got like that talent to direct and film your own stuff. For me, it was about finding sort of the right kind of footage to put together and do that research, do that crate digging.
Of course.
Yeah. So I was really looking for this feeling of like this longing feeling, right? Like this loneliness where you're wanting to be with somebody, but you're far away and you want to reach out and be with them, but you can't because of the distance between you, whether that's because of COVID or in the video, this happens to be because this person's in space and they're trying to get home to Earth.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, Slow Burn's just about that, that attraction, that desire to be with somebody who's not there. And so I felt like the footage really met that feeling. And so that's how that came together.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's great because I use a lot of stock footage as well too, with things, promotion things I put out. I mean, it's hard to film, it'd be hard to have anything, filmed at this time, especially with the last couple of years. So
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. I mean, just to have a production company and stuff like that to get your full ideas, I think, can be a pain too. But so you mentioned Cyber Ethereal too. Is there any other announcements for future announcements? Anything you'd like to let us know about?
Yeah, so we all know about the war in Ukraine, and Binaural Space is an electronic artist who's putting together a compilation which is set for Bandcamp Friday, which is coming up March, let's see, 4th maybe.
I believe so. Yeah,
it's the Friday. Could check my calendar, but it's something like that. Yeah, March the 4th. So this compilation is going to be released then, or at least so far as I understand it. No word right now on the total number of artists involved, but I've seen a lot of activity about the compilation. I happen to have a piece ready that's an instrumental piece, more similar to, I did an instrumental EP last year called Escape from Ultra City, which is kind of a cyberpunk kind of thing. So I have a follow-up album I'm working on, instrumental, and I just happen to have an instrumental piece just about ready to go. And I thought, what better way than to contribute it to this this compilation. So if you're interested, it's coming out Bandcamp Friday, and it's a compilation to benefit the Ukrainian people.
Awesome. I'll put a link below in the video so people can definitely check that out. It'd be great. So Jonny, I want to thank you. This is the first show, Beat on the Street.
Hopefully we did a good enough job that there can be a second show.
Yeah, of course. I hope so. Thank you, and I look forward to more of your music coming out and possibly doing this again as well too in the future.
Yeah, no, you've done such a great job with Pop Art Ave and really lending support to the community. Can't thank you enough, Mike.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I have fun with it. So
that's great work.
At that time, guys, to wrap up the show, I want to thank everybody for appearing in the first episode of The Beat on the Street. Cole from Retro Reverb Records, Ollie Galaxis, Kal-Elle Jagger, Jonny Fallout, and Lucy Dreams. I thank you. I hope everyone enjoys this show. And again, if you ever want to be on the show, do a cameo, interview, music video, have your track on, email me at beatstreetsub@gmail.com. Again, this is Michael Anthony for The Beat on the Street. Thank you for watching.